Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Kim and Chris Kenny. They are from the McKinley Presidential Library and Museum. You want to be sure to see Mom What's That taking place now through Labor Day. Mm-hmm. So all through the summer, you got a chance to get over there and see this. Let's talk about the monument. How many steps to the monument?
108.
108.
108.
I told my kids when they were little, we climbed it, and I said, President McKinley is buried here. And they said, well, of course he is. He probably died when he got to the top of these steps.
I heard that one before.
I thought it was funny, had to share it. But it is kind of remarkable that in Canton, Ohio, we have so many national museums. Do you want to talk about that?
It is. We're very, very fortunate in our community. And I think sometimes those of us that have lived here a long time or lived here all of our lives don't realize what we have in our own backyard. And people that we get to the museum for the first time from out of state, they always comment on how the monument especially rivals anything that you're going to see in Washington, D.C. And it really does. And I think, one of our jobs at the museum is to remind people that this is the burial site of our 25th president. It's used for a lot of community events and other things, and people enjoy gathering at the monument, and it's just a wonderful community asset, and we're very fortunate to have something of that significance in our community. The reasons behind why we have it, the fact that he was assassinated is certainly very tragic. But the fact that, we are home to just one of, really in the grand scheme of things, a few presidents,
right, it's a small club.
It is, that have been assassinated. And the fact that, one of 45 presidents, really 44 because we had one that was twice, came from our community, that we fostered the person that was going to become our 25th president. So it's really pretty great.
It is. You do something very, very cool every once in a while. Let's take everybody into the, I don't want to say underbelly, but the underground
right.
and getting to see what's really underneath all of this, and you get to see the nooks and crannies
exactly
that normally you don't get to see.
Yep.
When's that happening next?
Well, a few years ago, we decided that we were going to combine two of our most popular tours. Kim does the cemetery walks, and I do the nooks and crannies tour of the monument, and they have always been very, very popular. We've done them for years. I think we'd sell them out if we did them once a month, probably. But with all of the other things that we have going on, we thought, all right, well, we're gonna pick one day and we're gonna do both of them. So this year it is August 10th, which is a Thursday, I believe, and the cemetery walk will be first, and that usually runs from about 10 a.m. to around 11. And then folks come back to the museum, take a little break, and then we'll go up and do the monument. So we are about half full at this point. We take 50 people total. That seems to be all that we can accommodate down in the lower level of the monument comfortably. So we take 50, and it's $10 a person, and you
For
get both of
you get to see
you get both of those.
Wow.
So it's a great bargain. We do ask for prepaid reservations so they can call the museum and take care of that. We meet at the museum, and then we go from there. So it's extremely popular. We have people that have signed up almost a year in advance, maybe 9 months ahead of time once we've set our date, so that they don't get closed out of it.
So let's get it on people's calendars now. It's August 10th. It's
August
not sold
10th.
out yet, is it?
It is not.
All right,
no.
good. Okay.
Not yet.
So you meet at the monument.
We meet at the museum. Yep, inside the museum.
And you go to which cemetery?
West Lawn.
West Lawn.
Cemetery.
And who do we find buried there?
Oh, there's Timkins and Hoovers, and the McKinley family is there. This year is the third year that we've been doing that, and I happen to have 3 different tours. So this tour, there's a circus sword swallower on that tour. And my favorite, Bernetta Miller, she was the 5th woman to get her pilot's license in 1912.
Wow.
Which is a big deal. So there's lots. The only drawback of that one is that it's right along 77, so I really have to shout. But it's a fun time, and we do it basically rain or shine, unless it's storming on us. But people will come in the rain. The very first time I did this tour, it was sleeting, and people came anyway. Everyone came anyway. So, yeah, it's very popular.
People who love cemetery tours love their cemetery tours.
Yes.
I know folks who they plan vacations. That is already something that is planned into a vacation. Whatever town they're going to, they're going to visit some cemeteries while they're there. It's fascinating, isn't
Yes.
it? Just to get a little glimpse into someone. They walked here, they lived here. A sword swallower lived in Canton.
Yeah.
Didn't
And
know
I didn't
that.
know about that till it was in the repository and happened to mention that she was buried in West Lawn. And I thought, where? I got to find her. And
Yes.
she's not far from other people I visit. So, yeah, we added her onto the tour.
Are anybody still taking care of these? When you go to visit some of these, do you still see people caring for them with plants and flowers
Certain
and so forth?
sections.
Okay.
There are still active plots available at West Lawn, generally towards the front of the 7th Street entrance, and you'll see that. But as you go deeper into the cemetery where it's very old, like the 19th century graves, they're maintained by the cemetery, but there's not flowers and stuffed animals and balloons and all of that anymore, which is really sad.
You
to
get
think about.
so many generations away, and people just don't know.
No,
they
they don't.
know that they're related to them, and they don't.
I think of that every time I watch any of those genealogy shows.
Yes.
And you think about everything that we know about our families right now and how quickly it gets lost. And then people have to kind of discover what was already known just a generation or two before. So
Exactly.
it boggles my mind every time I watch the
Memorial
shows.
Day, my sister and I always go. We do the tour of cemeteries, and we decorate as far back as we know. And it really does go to our two greats. So
Oh,
we
wow.
go to a great-great-grandparents, and we've said, wouldn't they be surprised to find out that every Christmas and every Memorial Day, their stone looks spectacular?
They would.
They would, yeah. they'd
Compared
be
to
very
their
happy.
contemporaries.
Who are you people, and why are you doing this? But we just think it's cool, that we know that that's where they are, and we like to decorate it because it's kind of cool. It shows respect and everything.
Right.
You had to have had, and I'm looking at Chris right now. You had to have had really an experience the first time you went down into the basement of the monument and started discovering these things for yourself. What was that like?
It is. We have a wonderful photograph collection of the monument under construction and throughout its history. It's 110 years old in 2017, so that's pretty neat milestone, certainly. But you do get a sense that you're just a small part of its history, and that you're bringing some forgotten things back to life. And it's our hope with the monument. I mean, it's been there for a long time before us. It's going to be there a long time after us. And while we're its caretakers, we want to make sure we do a good job and make sure we represent it well and make sure that the next generation knows the significance and the importance and understands about it. So, you look at those pictures and then you realize you're in the same place those people were standing. Right. And it as a historian, it puts you in that time and place with them, even though you weren't really there, type of thing.
I think it's a very emotional experience. And it's for the way we've got it here in our town, you're right, it's way better than Washington because you go to the monument and then you go into that room where the animatronic President and Mrs. William McKinley talk to you.
Right.
That is, you have to go to Disney World to see Lincoln.
True.
But we have it right there on the same grounds, and that room is kind of amazing. Can you talk about that a bit?
It is. That room depicts three distinct periods of his life, his early career when he moved here to Canton in 1867. So we have artifacts that he used in his law office. So you're talking about a gentleman in his mid-20s working with the likes of Judge George Belden and getting to know people like Cornelius Altman. All of these names that we associate with Canton and Stark County. I mean,
And
William,
buildings.
Right. And William McKinley knew them. He knew these people. So they're there. There's a clock in the collection from the Stark County Courthouse that predates McKinley's arrival in 1867, and then we have a portion dedicated to some of the artifacts that were in his home, which sadly doesn't stand any longer, where the front porch campaign was, and then we have artifacts from the White House. We have one of his desks. We have the beds from their bedroom with a picture of their daughter above it, and then not too far away, there's a picture of the White House bedroom with that same picture above the bed. So,
wow. So that's how they had it.
That's how they had it, and so that's how we have it. So it's very much, maintaining, keeping that history alive, and especially for me, either before we open or after hours, you just take a walk through that room, and the same thing with the memorial. You sort of feel like you've kind of gone back in time, and you kind of feel that energy around you, or what have you, and you just try and do the best you can to keep their legacy alive.
You've got a couple of really cool books. You want to tell what they are and how do people get them?
Sure. The most recent book came out in 2016, and that's called The McKinley Years, The Life and Times of Our 25th President, and that's available at the museum gift shop. And the approach I took on that book was to make it not only a book about his professional life, but also his personal life, and how the two intertwined. Because I think so often we forget that these people in positions of power are just that, they're people. Right. So this book took a look at how different things in his personal life affected what was going on in Columbus, or what was going on in Washington, D.C., and vice versa. And there's some images in there that probably people haven't seen before, some really, really neat images. And one of my favorite images is something we came across in a collection that was donated to us just while I was putting the book together. And it's William and Ida arm in arm going up the walk to their home. So as President and First Lady, but in that picture, they're not President and First Lady, they're husband and wife.
Yes.
And it shows kind of the tenderness at that particular moment.
He was extremely devoted to her. I think that's one of the things that I learned at the First Ladies Library was that there are not that many letters from him to her because they were together so much.
Right.
It's true.
That's just so cool. What else, real quickly, in our closing moments, what else is going on this summer that we don't want to miss?
Well, we have a Tea with the Curator series, and the next tea is going to be July 24th, and we're doing a Christmas in July theme.
Ooh.
So Chris plays the piano, and he does the history of Christmas carols, which he usually does in December, but we're going to do that in July this year to do something a little bit different.
For folks very much interested in science, we're going to have an eclipse watch on August 21st.
Oh, wow.
So we'll keep our fingers crossed for fairly clear skies, but folks can come out to the Monument Plaza from 1 to 4 while the eclipse is going on, and our planetarium staff will have telescopes set up. They'll have the glasses available so you can safely look at the eclipse, and they'll be able to direct people and let them know what they're looking at.
What's the date of that again?
That's August 21st.
And that will be an actual eclipse taking place. That is not a planetarium show.
No, that's a real eclipse.
A real
Happening
eclipse,
now.
right.
And it's so sad that happens to the planetarium staff all the time. If there are clouds, they can't do anything. So we need a clear day that day.
Okay. All right. Well, you've got to see Mom, What's That? And
Yes.
you just have to get yourself over to the McKinley Presidential Library and Museum. We didn't even get into Discover World. That is just an amazing world, all in its own. It's really a fun day, great day with your family. And my goodness, thanks for bringing what you bring and all you're doing for our community.
Oh,
Thank you.